In this video today, we're going to be breaking down the new podcast episode released by the mayor, Tiffany Henyard, and we're going to expose a lot of the lies and hypocrisy that came from that podcast. We're going to have some receipts ready. We're going to expose the narrative that she tried to push on this podcast. In the unfolding saga of the Tiffany Henyard's leadership, questions loom about her true commitment to the community's well-being. While she pushes for tax increases and other initiatives, skeptics wonder if these moves generally serve the public or they're just a veiled attempt to consolidate power and control. And you'll see this displayed on that podcast. But first, I want to talk about the sponsor of today's video, Aura.com. As we navigate the complexities of community leadership and public trust, we face similar challenges online. Our personal information, from names to health records, is constantly at risk, traded by data brokers in the vast digital marketplace. This is where Aura.com steps in, offering a beacon of security in the murky waters of the internet. Aura equips you with the tools to safeguard your digital life. Aura shields you from digital theft, financial fraud, and more, ensuring that your online ventures are secure and your personal information remains confidential. Aura's suite of services, including antivirus protection, password management, and VPN access, fortifies your digital presence against unseen threats. Consider Aura your personal digital watchdog, ever vigilant in protecting your online identity and privacy. Aura invites you to experience this comprehensive protection free for 14 days. This trial is your opportunity to explore how Aura can be your ally against digital vulnerabilities, offering instant alerts and removing your info from data broker sites, even implementing parental controls for your family's online safety. In the world where trust can sometimes feel fleeting, both in our local communities and online, Aura provides a layer of security and peace of mind, ensuring that your digital journey is safe. Check out Aura for 14 days. The link will be in the description box below. Now, let's get into it. I've watched it. I had a day to kind of digest it. Let's do an official review of this podcast on the move. So she dropped it yesterday. She's been hyping this up for ages, saying that it was her chance to set the record straight, to take on all of the folks who have been talking about her spending, her job choices, all this type of things that's been going on. She promised us this is the real truth. She's going to clear the air. So as we all did, last night was impromptu. I was like, this episode came out 2 hours ago. I'm going to do a lot. Thank you for those who hung out with me last night. But right off the bat, as a content creator, and this is a first video. All right, whatever. Your first videos are not good. Just by off the bat of how you put it together. It was way too long and tried too hard to be funny. Too many sound effects. The jokes didn't make any sense because the problem is we're not here for her to be a YouTuber or entertainer. We're not here for the laughs. We're not. I mean, a lot of us are watching how cringe this is and laughing because of that. But this mayor's in the spotlight for a lot of bad reasons. She's supposed to be a leader and she's supposed to be an influencer, but an influencer of her being a mayor, being the supervisor of the township. She spends so much time laughing, having this vindictive behavior, this beef that she's having with people. These are big issues that we're dealing with. This is not a game for her to prop up whatever reality show career that she thinks she has, some influencer career that she thinks she has. It was just really, really ridiculous. We were left with still had a lot of questions about her finances, about her decisions. Where's the money? What is up with the foundation? What happened in Vegas? These things are still questions that she didn't answer. Now it's episode 1, but at the same time, I'll be surprised if she addressed Vegas. It just felt like a comedy show, a really bad one. But the people who live in Dalton, the people that were at that special board meeting, this is serious business. This is not a game. It's not about jokes. These are real concerns that these people have. And she cares more about her brand than the people, clearly. I mean, she's talking a big game, talking about bringing people together. How? All she's been doing is dividing people. The problem is she is targeting those she does not like, she doesn't get along with. Talking about Larry, that business owner. Talking about Dr. Scott. If you're on her good side, you can have cool parties. You can hang out, say, and dance and be a goofball. So this car wash, they had illegal parties too. But the problem is the person that was running that car wash at the time was Kamal Woods, her boyfriend. Again, her married boyfriend and not married to her. Again, according to the streets. This Rock Island, he uses this name quite often in his business and holdings. So this is the Rock Island car wash. And he was having all types of crazy parties. So the podcast is bad. I do want her to continue. Keep making them. Actually put more sound effects because it shows between what's a real leader and a fake leader. A real leader would have been upfront, showing facts and figures, not dodging the tough questions, not dodging the important things you need to know, because a real podcast of her showing the figures, saying, hey, we're not in debt this much money. They said that we're in debt. Deficit is 7 million. Like, let me show you what's going on. Let me show you what happened to a lot of these issues with the police harassing everyone. Let me show you what's going on with these businesses. Not pick and choosing certain things to fit her narrative. So even that the situation with Larry, he's having all these illegal parties, so many. We got to shut it down because we can't have that. We can't have that here, blah, 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 all that type of thing. But the problem is what she showed, she didn't show a whole lot. If you look at it, and thank you for the email that pointed this out to me. She showed 2 parties or 2 get-togethers, right? That was going down. And it made it seem like, well, this guy must be doing this a lot. Wow, he must have some kind of speakeasy or something. Like, okay, whatever. Even though this is, again, small town, you think if this guy has some issues, you can talk to him like a regular person and figure something out. Even with the bar. Again, this is not New York City. This is not 8 million people. If a business owner that's a valuable member of the society that is employing a lot of jobs, you could talk to him face to face, say, hey, let's work this out. But again, she allows other people to have parties that could be illegal, but not other people. So when you look at the timestamp, they're like a year apart. Now, the problem is that you can't really see it on the screen, but if you do watch the real video, because this is a screen grab, and I think the issues with the pixels and everything, you would notice that this one is in 2023, and this one is at 2024. It looks like a New Year's, right? 1/1/24. If you really zoom in and look at it, it may seem like this guy was just out there, just like he had an illegal speakeasy. That's all he's doing. That's the only thing he's doing the entire time. I'm not sitting there defending what's going on. Who knows what arrangements they had, but it looks like to me the problem is that she goes after people using the law, using the police when she doesn't like you. But when she likes you and you're giving her money in her pocket, she will look the other way. And that's the problem with her. It just seems very corrupt. Let's continue. The podcast spent a lot of time on the local disputes that she had, but she didn't offer any solutions. She didn't really. She just said, these people are lying. Let's all come together. But there was no solutions. When you are running for office, it's about action. It's not just about words. Her approach to leadership and community is the reason why she needs to step down. I think a lot of people in Dalton are looking for real progress. They're not looking for a promoter. They're not looking for an influencer. The people in Dalton want a leader, not some wannabe, I don't know, podcaster, YouTuber, whatever. Because this, I would say, in terms of being a podcaster or being a YouTuber compared to being a mayor is extremely an important job. You can't goof off on that. And that's what she's been doing thus far. Dr. Scott also addressed the issue with another food pantry pass. And thank you for everybody who's been donating. I think she was at 31,000 yesterday, but I think it's probably even more. But those who are not familiar with the Dr. Scott story, Dr. Nicole Scott has been going back and forth with Dalton's leadership over expanding her food pantry, a free Indeed market, despite serving thousands of people, helping single parents. Tiffany Henyard calls herself a single parent. She's facing permit delays as she's attributing this delay to Mayor Henyard's administration. She fears that they're aiming to acquire her property. And then the village counters back, saying that, citing unmet permit criteria and questioning Scott's tax status and just finding ways to delay and cause such a problem that she just quits and gives up. But this just brings more support to Dr. Scott, has already been said. So it just brings more concerns on how the administration practice in terms of their transparency, how they deal with the money. Why are you trying to attack someone that's trying to help the community? Why? Because the person, Dr. Scott has said things publicly criticizing her, and now she's mad. Yes, Tiffany and her crew wants Dr. Scott's building to turn it back to a strip mall. Then she offers the spots to all the businesses that helped her shut down. No permit, no FOIAs. Yeah, there's something going on. The one thing that they did vote for, because this was actually in the primary election earlier this week, some people think that Tiffany Henyard doesn't want this community center to come together because she may have her own plan. She may want to open a new food pantry in the Thornton Township, since that was one of the things that most people did agree on to have. So it's possible that that's what she wants. Is that what she's looking for? And she just really, at this point, Tiffany is just playing keep away with the permits. Dr. Scott needs these permits to fix up the building, pass inspection, and start construction. But no, Tiffany doesn't want to let that happen. She's saying, call me, reach out to me. That's nonsense. There's been, Dr. Scott's been really transparent of how she's trying to reach the administration, but they don't want that. And is it possible that this pantry may outshine her buddy's fancy new restaurant that's going to be down on Lincoln Avenue? And we'll talk about that as well. There's some shady stuff going on. And then the fact that she went and disrespected her, talking about people are upset of Dr. Scott's building conditions as if she is some kind of slumlord. When we all know that Tiffany Henyard is a slumlord. I don't know if she forgot that she did this, but we're here to remind her of the story of her being a slumlord. She was showing some leaking situations on Dr. Scott property, but let's show the property that Tiffany owned.
Water leaks. Nearly 3 months ago, we first exposed serious problems in a South suburban rental home owned by a Dalton Village trustee.
Since then, the renter says it's only gotten worse. CBS 2 political investigator Dana Kozlov has also learned that trustee is pocketing tens of thousands of your tax dollars for a house that's now unlivable.
You need to get your clothes out for school.
Jacqueline Smith and her 2 children called this hotel room home for almost a month.
Before I continue, remember how much time she talked about it's Women's Month and how she says, I'm a single mother. Look how she treats this single mother.
Ever since the Dalton house they were renting from village trustee Tiffany Henyard was slapped with this.
A big red sign that I cannot live there because it's unlivable.
Unlivable mostly because of mold.
All mold. Even growing on the bottom of the shoes is mold.
Mold that Smith's landlord, trustee Henyard, pledged to immediately clean up after we first reported on the problem in August.
And that's where it started.
Smith says workers came and painted. The house even passed a village inspection. Issues abated, notes Inspector Brian Thigpen in this September report, except they weren't.
It's horrible.
Enter activist David Lowry, who called Dalton directly. Suddenly, the house deemed livable on September 3rd became unfit for occupancy on October 15th. Lowry's theory?
The trustee used her power and influence.
We caught up with Henyard before last week's board meeting. I want to talk to you about that house on Dearborn. Can we do that?
My attorney's right here, so if you got any questions, I have legal counsel. Talk to my attorney.
So you want me to talk to your attorney and not you? You can't tell me how that house failed an inspection in October when it just passed it beforehand?
If you have any questions, talk to my attorney.
So we did.
The inspection process is within control of the
real leader there. Her ability to never address things that criticize her. Can't answer the hard questions. I guess that started extremely early before she became mayor.
village, not of the trustee. She has been instructed by the village attorney to be treated just like any other property owner.
Dalton's attorney says the house's inspection history is under investigation, and village records show a slew of past problems, with the house passing, then failing, then passing inspections for years, even before the Housing Authority of Cook County approved it as a rental property eligible for government housing assistance money, or Section 8. An 80 employee says as a landlord, Henyard's received $36,866 taxpayer dollars in Section 8 rent payments since 2017, when Smith moved in. Money that kept coming even after this foreclosure notice was filed against the house last year.
We're staying in a hotel, so.
All the while, Dalton taxpayers even helped foot the bill to keep Smith's family off the streets.
You know, the village should be compassionate. She had nowhere to go. She had children. What we thought was to actually bill Trustee Henyard.
I learned this afternoon that Jacqueline Smith and her kids are now staying with a friend. The village is no longer for the hotel, and she doesn't have the money. I'm still waiting on a list of any citations Trustee Henyard received because of that house.
So she had the nerve. She has some issue where she can't remember what she did like a few years ago. Like she doesn't have a memory when she wakes up. She doesn't remember any of that. She had the nerve to talk about Dr. Scott and the issues with her property when she literally was just getting paid by the taxpayers and not helping that single mom with her two kids where they had mold, dangerous mold in that property. It's not just the permits and plans. It's about what it means to be a leader. A real leader brings people together, builds trust, and looks out for everyone. But Tiffany's just playing these games and she doesn't care. She's doing the complete opposite. It just chips away at the trust that the people have in their community leaders. I mean, who's really being looked after? Only if you give her money. She wants the doc to give up so she can grab it the same way her boyfriend grabbed that property for $80K and sold it 2 months for $200,000. Interesting. That's a good theory, right? Let's check that out. So for those who do not know, there was a property that was brought by, again, I keep saying her boyfriend, right? But again, he's married. But I guess I don't know what kind of arrangement they have. But whatever it is, he still is youth director. He works for the township. He makes about $100,000. So he's being taken care of in many ways. That the super chat was talking about this right here. So this is a property that Kamal Woods, and this all connects to Tiffany Henyard, so don't worry. He bought a property for $80,000, and a year later sold it for $200,000. That's a nice little chunk of money. That's pretty good, right? I mean, you bought it in September, had it for about a year and 2 months, and got $200,000. That's not too bad, right? Who's TAC Investments? Who TAK Investments is? I'll show you who that person is. So this is Tiffany Camara. She has been in business for years and owns the Emporium Beverage Depot. It's one of few Black and women-owned beverage sales operators in the state of Illinois. So still going strong. She's right there. Was a part of an ownership group that brought that building, Tiffany Camara Investments, TAC. So they bought this property, put that in there. And another thing that we noticed as well, and this is typical corrupt politics, pay for play type stuff that's going on. So we did notice this, St. Patrick Investments donated about $8,000 to the Friends of Tiffany A. Henyard, which is, people donate, no problem. I guess that's what they do. But actually before, let me just double back to that property and the listing from that property. So it shows right there that this was sold for $200,000. You'll see right there, you can read the description here, location. Put your mind and creativity to work. This space will allow you to do whatever you desire. It has parking, storage, office, baths, and a full basement, essentially off the interstate. It's 20 minutes from downtown and 10 minutes from Indiana. Cool. So you can see that. But we can see later on, you got that $8,000 donation, and you see what's planned to be built. St. Patrick's 5-star restaurant, banquet hall, and rooftop venue. Yes. So when you give her money, take care of her, she take care of you, right? Developers thank Mayor Tiffany Henyard for her support. So the boyfriend buys the property, sells it to these people. They build a nice restaurant. He gets what, $160K. Tiffany probably got some of that money too. Got the $8,000 in donations. Multiple owners do all the pay and play stuff. It's how things work. Did the property increase in value that much in a year and 2 months? I mean, you guys let me know. I don't live there, but that's interesting. That's a good flip. And the reason why we're talking about Kamal Woods is I don't care about the personal issues or whatever they got going on, but clearly he's invested in these situations and the mayor helps him out. She takes care of him, got him making 6 figures, and they have a bunch of properties. I didn't have time to go through all of this today, but they have a lot of properties and they're doing a lot of shady stuff. This is a great comment from Island Rebel Entertainment. Deny license, close businesses, buy property, resell, or RICO swapping. Definitely. He's married. He's getting paid to play. And he's getting taken. And then they get to do little crazy parties. And then anybody else that do anything wrong, just a little bit wrong, and if she don't like you, she'll go after you. It's really about, are you going to take care of her financially in some way? And if you don't, she will go after you. Yes, absolutely. Follow the money. And a lot of stuff is online. This is all public information. You'll know exactly how much she's getting paid in contributions during a campaign, political stuff. Any property, just type in her name, type in Kamal Woods' name. You'll see all of these properties. And you start to question, like, what is going on? You'll see that Dearborn property, the one that she was a slumlord at. You'll see all these properties, and you're like, wow, she's been doing this for a while, throwing money all over the place. What does she do? Even before the situation, like, what's going on? And again, we asked that question, who's really looking after the people in Dalton? Because it looks like, to me, Tiffany A. Henyard is taking care of Tiffany A. Henyard. But let's move on. There's something else I want to talk about, the tax referendum that she got shut down with. So she lost this one. But remember, the super mayor had this big idea up her sleeve for the folks in the township. She was pushing hard for this tax hike. That was promising to funnel $3 million into mental health and substance abuse services. This was a big thing, right? Big deal. The picture's clear. More money, there'll be more help, more support for communities. And the good thing about it is that everyone, including the other mayors and around the township, said no, because they knew it was just a way for her to try to get as much tax money as possible. But she spent a lot of tax money on things that we all see, billboards and posters and ice rinks and stuff like that, stuff that doesn't really help anybody. It's extremely important to her, but not to the people in Dalton and in the rest of the township. So what Tiffany Henyard didn't mention was that Dalton, which I was obviously the key part of her jurisdiction as intelligent, already had a situation. They already had something. It was called the Comfort Zone, operated by Kirby. It was basically a sanctuary for those in crisis, offering everything from counseling, support for domestic violence survivors. And this was all free for the locals. It was already here.
I thank each and every one of you for being here. What a humbling moment it is to stand here before you all to mark this very special occasion. It's my sincere pleasure to welcome you to the ribbon cutting ceremony for the new Kirby Rehabilitation Crisis Center, known as the Comfort Zone. My name is Leah Kirby Hill, and I am the founder and CEO of Kirby Rehabilitation. Today, we celebrate the grand opening of Kirby Rehabilitation's satellite location here in the great city of Dalton, Illinois. My husband and I, Sam Hill, chose Dalton as our first site because we knew there was great work to be done here. And we want to accept the challenge to make a difference in this community.
So that was pretty cool, right? Like, that was free. They're supposed to help everybody here, right? The mayor once championed bringing Kirby to the Dalton back in, this is 2021. Despite initial thoughts about her motives, it turned out to be a mutual beneficial arrangement, providing essential services to the community from a village-owned property at minimum costs. So it seemed like that was going to be a good idea. So the arrangement was so solid that, a lot of the trustees, which often skeptical of what's going on, came on board. They agreed to the deal to allow Kirby to operate out of the old village hall next to the fire station, and recognizing that this is going to be really great service to provide to the residents. However, problem is things went south. Obviously, the harmony didn't last. The Comfort Zone started grappling with a severe sewage issue, making the center practically, you couldn't be there. It's uninhabitable, right? Like, you couldn't be there. Complaints about the foul smell, visible sewage on the premises fell on deaf ears, with Tiffany, their landlord, being the slumlord that she is, didn't do anything about it, right? People were desperate for a solution. The Comfort Zone reached out to Henyard, hoping for repair or relocation to another suitable village-owned building. And despite their flexibility and willingness to stay in Dalton, they were met with resistance and ultimately rejection. Sounds familiar? This sounds like what she does. I forgot the comment that it's neglect the property, they begging for help, they leave, you purchase it and sell it, and you get some kind of kickback deal. That's what happens. This is free. So again, with no solution in sight, the Comfort Zone had no choice but to relocate to another place, leaving a void in Dalton. That support network, it was gone. And the owners, they just left, and leaving the community to speculate on what happened, why she didn't support them. Now, there's a lot of different perspectives to consider, but I think a lot of it is, it's probably a way for her to take the property for themselves. Tiffany made the Comfort Zone pretty uncomfortable. That's a pretty good way of putting it. So she didn't even have a plan because it was just about the money. She had ability. This Comfort Zone, they wanted to be there in Dalton, and this is how she treated those people. That podcast was just something to behold. God, it sucked. It's terrible. It just seems like the moment of the Comfort Zone's departure coinciding with the push for a tax increase and elimination of potential competition just raises questions on the true priorities in play here. Again, this I'm gonna keep repeating myself until I'm blue in the face. The complex realities that comes with leadership. The decisions that are made by leaders not only affect the immediate landscape of the residents and the community, but also the fabric of the community that they serve. And every politician, they're looking for a legacy. What they're going to do that help the community long after they leave. And so far, I don't see anything that's helpful unless you really like the ice cream rink. So doing a podcast and saying, "Oh, I got this guy, Larry. I got him. I'm gonna show that this guy is just doing illegal parties." And you showed only 2 in a year apart. Okay, that's enough. That was a point that you need to put on that podcast, not what happened in Vegas, not the deficit. And you went after Dr. Scott, but we kind of showed you that a lot of it is nonsense. And you showed an old clip of her supporting you. There's a lot of people that once supported this mayor, that once thought that she had a potential to do great things. They were betrayed by this mayor. This mayor betrayed their trust, betrayed their confidence. And now they changed their mind because we're allowed to change our mind. When we thought we had someone, we thought someone we could trust, someone that was going to able to do the job. And then once they show us they can't do the job, they can't be trusted, then we change our mind. So showing Dr. Scott supporting you doesn't change anything. Her mind has changed. You're not supporting her. You betrayed her. You want that property for something else. You don't want her to have the property. The narcissism is astounding.